Welcome back to the Talking Sports podcast. I am your host, JD, and I got my brother with me, Jeremiah.
Yo,
We are back with another video. Today, we're going to be breaking down the NFC North division. As you all know, NFL is ramping up. We're in preseason. Most teams have played their second game. Other teams are going to be playing their next games this weekend as we're recording this. But we're starting with the NFC North. For what we're doing is our NFL forum. And for those of you who are watching us for the first time, this is going to be our first time doing this. This is our first NFL offseason that we're going to be breaking down on this channel. We started close to playoff football last season. We started this channel last year,
January, right?
December. It was December.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so close to playoff football, if not in playoff football, maybe like week 17, week 18, something like that. But this is our first NFL offseason, so we wanted to just break down the divisions. We know that the NFL draft has happened, free agency. We're in training camps right now and preseason mode. So this is a great opportunity to just break down these teams and give our predictions for what we think is going to happen this coming season. And we're excited to bring that to you all. So we're starting with the NFC North. For those of you who do not know, those teams are the Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Chicago Bears. So a lot of storylines for this division. This is honestly one of the better divisions in football. Jeremiah, let's start with the first team that we're starting with, and you can choose. It doesn't matter really.
Well, I think we should probably start with the best team,
Okay.
and that's the Detroit Lions.
Who is that for you?
That's the Lions, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, Detroit.
Lions,
Detroit.
Yeah, they were definitely the best team, I think, based off of really the past 2 years, but especially last year. They got the number 3 seed last year, making it to the conference championship.
Yeah.
And I think they really solidified their defense with their draft, this past draft. So I think the Lions are honestly in prime position to win the division again. And I think things are going to get harder for Green Bay. Things are going to get harder for Chicago. And honestly, the Lions, they have the best overall team. Honestly, not just in their division, but in the NFC. Their team is very balanced, from coach all the way to special teams. I mean, the team is really, really good. And I think really the key is going to be staying healthy, of course, but building up those draft picks like they've been doing in recent years. And then also you have a superstar wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you got to feed him. I think we had this conversation around playoff time last year, is that he wasn't getting as many touches as we would have liked to see. So hopefully the game plan is to feed him, get him his catches, get him his touches, and let him get going. So I like the Lions. I think they're the best team in this division. Definitely top 2 teams in the NFC for sure.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's crazy. We're talking about the NFC North, and we're talking about the Detroit Lions as the best team. We haven't been able to say that since the 90s. And, even then there was some conversation about it.
Right.
with the legends Barry Sanders and Herman Moore and
Yep.
those guys. But yeah, no, the Lions are a really good team, and from going from where they were to being in the conference championship, NFC championship game is, and to be honest, they should have won that game. They should have won the game against the 49ers.
For sure.
Um, and they were really close to pulling it out. But we have to give credit to the coach. We gotta give credit to um, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell. Yeah, Dan Campbell. And he's just a hard nosed coach. He's gonna get
Yep.
the best out of his players. He's a no nonsense type of coach. Um, he doesn't he doesn't fool around with any nonsense. And I think the players play for him,
Yeah.
and you can tell a quality of the team by the coach that you have, and not only that, they just have some good players. I mean, let's be real. They got some really good players on the team. I think honestly, if the key for this team, I believe, is going to be the running back, Jameer Gibbs. I think he's going to be the
Yep.
key for him. If he stays healthy throughout the season, the sky's going to be the limit for them. David Montgomery, he's an older back. He's the bruiser. He's the three down back. But Jameer Gibbs is going to be the guy catching the passes out of the backfield. He's going to be the guy running the screens and the speed guy. And if they can get the production, even more production
Yeah.
from that they got last season, and they're going to be back in the conference championship, because a good run game, we all know this, a good run game, it opens up the pass. And Jared Goff needs a good run game. He needs it. He's always had it. He had it in LA when he went to the Super Bowl. And he's got two good running backs now. And so if they can run the ball well, and they've got weapons, they've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, they've got Jameson Williams, they got amazing tight end and Sam Laporta, he's also gonna be another great player, just coming off of his second season. Like these guys are still young too. When you think about it,
Crazy.
man,
Yep.
they're from being so young to get into the conference championship. It's only gonna push them even further with their desire to get back there and get to the Super Bowl. They know what happened last season, and I just think I'm gonna say that Jameer Gibbs is gonna be the X factor for this team. Do you have an X factor for the Detroit Lions that you think is gonna be their either breakout player or just the key for them this season?
Uh, you know, I remember saying this last season when we were discussing the Lions, and I think the X factor, it might have been Gibbs, or it might have been, somebody like Sam Laporta. But for me, the team goes as Jared Goff goes. I said that before, and I'm going to continue to say that because the talent around him is great, but he has to prove that he can be just as great with them. And I think he does in moments. He shows that in moments, but he has to be consistent.
Yeah,
So for me, it's Goff. I know he's the star quarterback, but he has to be the key. He has to be the X factor on offense for sure.
yeah.
But on defense, I really like Brian Branch. I think
Mhm.
he's incredible, versatile, can play almost anywhere across the uh, secondary. So Brian Branch, I think, has to be one of the leaders on that defense for sure. But offense, Jared Goff, he has to take them to that next level.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. And just to mention the defense, they did pick up Terry Arnold,
Yep.
cornerback from Alabama. He's going to be a huge piece for them.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I've always said this: anytime you can get an Alabama player in the draft, do it. Like
Yep.
they're the most, they're the most well coached players in all of college football. They of course they have the cachet. Most of them are, 4-star, 5-star players coming out of high school. And then the development out of out of high school into college with Nick Saban, former coach for them, but
Yeah.
um it's just great. Players, they always are, in the playoff or in big BCS bowls and college football playoff bowls. Um, so, you know, he's coming into a situation where he's going to be the best corner on the team.
Yeah.
And you have other corners, Carlton Davis, um, Emmanuel Mosley. He's a good corner as well. But Brian Branch, safety, Melifanu, he played well last season.
Yeah.
So, defense is going to have a little bit more experience playing together, gelling under their defensive coordinator that they had, um, Aaron Glenn. And so, you know, I think the defense is going to be improved.
Yep.
Um, they they shored up some things. Aiden Hutchinson has another year under his belt, and he's a
Yeah.
monster. We all know that. So I this division is going to be really really fun, and we'll get to the other teams in a minute. But I'm excited to watch these games, I think that's another reason why we started with this division, just because there's so many storylines. A lot of these games are going to be exciting. Unfortunately, with Minnesota, we know that they lost JJ McCarthy for the season with his torn meniscus, which is a big blow for them. I was really excited to see him in that offense with all those weapons that he has. Um, but I definitely do see um, the Lions taking this division. Last year they won the division by 3 games. They were 12-5. The Packers were 9-8. The Packers did make the playoffs. That's good on them. But it wasn't really that close. The Packers had to win 3 straight to get to that point. So the Lions were playing for seeding in the NFC, trying to get the 1 seed, of course, and they tied for that. So I see it being a similar thing. 11, 12 wins.
Yeah.
Detroit is just good. They're just really good, and I don't see them having a slump, and I don't see them um, losing a lot of games in the division, despite how competitive it could be. Now, the only difference is they're going to have a leading, they're going to have a leading divisional schedule, which means you play other teams that were the better teams in their other divisions as well. So
Right.
that could be something, but I still see them coming on top in the division just because of the youth and the experience that they have, just adding another year to what they've already done.
Yeah. Yeah. You made great points. Like we mentioned earlier, the coach is incredible. He does a great job of rallying these guys together. Um, and the more they play, the more they build chemistry, the more they, win together. Uh, is is really key for this team. And the experience last year in the playoffs, I think, is
Mhm.
really going to help them uh,
Absolutely.
take that next step. At least for Jared Goff's sake, I hope so.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they only lost, it was 24-21 last year to the 49ers, and yeah, like they were so close. They were so close.
Yeah,
And that lingers, that stays with you. And
yeah,
take that momentum, you take that experience into the next season. and you just build on it. And they're so young, talented. Barring injuries and any setbacks, I see this team, vying for the 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah,
And so, that's high marks, that's high praise for them. But just looking at their roster and their depth chart, they got dudes all over the field. And there is not one person that you can key on without somebody else just wrecking you. And that's offense and defense. If you try to take away Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams going over top. If you try to take away Amon-Ra St. Brown, then Sam Laporta's
going
he's
short.
he's yeah. So I mean, on defense, if you try to, they got corners, they got safeties. Like if you try to double team Aiden Hutchinson, then Marcus Davenport's coming off the edge. Like they just got players, and they paid a lot of players. The offensive line is good. Like I don't know what to say. This is one of the best rosters in the NFC and in the NFL. And we're gonna make our predictions closer to when the season comes out. The season starts, but like I said, I see this team vying for the first seed for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. They should probably get 1 or 2 seed. Um, I think Frisco will be there, of course. I think Cowboys will be there. Uh, I'm hesitant on the Rams or the Eagles or those other teams, but we'll
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
yeah, for sure. So let's move on to the second team. Let's go to the Packers now. And this was the youngest team in the NFL last season, and we saw it. I think we saw it in their play, and just the way the season went. It was a struggle first half of the season, and then we saw him turn it on, and we saw Jordan Love's development. We saw his play improve over the course of the season, and it ended up getting them into the divisional round of the playoffs. And so they have a very experienced coach, Matt LaFleur. He knows what he's doing. He's a great play caller. He's going to steady the ship. And if there's one team that is really coach led, it's the Packers.
Yeah,
And Jordan Love is, he got the big contract. So, he's going to be more and more of a leader as time goes by. But LaFleur is the guy for them. And if he calls a good game and schemes up a good game for them, then they'll be in good position to do well. Of course, the players do have to execute, but um, it's still a young team. But again, building off of experience, building off of a season. They went 9-8. They'll make it to the playoffs, beating the Cowboys in a big playoff game in the wild card last season. It's huge for them, and so we'll see what they do. It's a toss up, to be honest. I don't know exactly what they'll do, but it's going to be fun. Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams, and the rivalry with the Lions, of course, and so it's going to be a fun season for them.
yeah. I think it should be a similar season to last season. I think starting off, they'll probably be a little bit better, a little more confident.
Yeah,
Um, a year under you, more chemistry, like we mentioned. Um, you know, as a former Packer fan, and y'all might know or y'all might not know the history on that. We're not going to get into that right now. But the front office continues to really leave me speechless. You had somebody in Devontae Adams who is a generational wide receiver talent, and
yeah,
you have someone similar. Um, Running backs are not, they come a dime a dozen, but they're all not as good um, as you'd want them to be. running backs, they have a very short peak. So the addition of Josh Jacobs and getting rid of Aaron Jones is a little bit mind-boggling to me. I think Jones is the better back. I think Josh Jacobs he's more of a bruiser. Still a very great running back, but again, this front office shows you that they only want to pay their quarterback. And with Aaron Rodgers being there as long as he was there and only getting one Super Bowl is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And that shows you that the front office and the front staff only want to pay the quarterback. When you do that, like they have now with Love, it's not going to be built on success. You look at a team like the Lions, for example. How many other players did they pay? Right?
Almost everybody.
Right, just about everybody.
That was eligible for a contract they pretty much paid.
Exactly. And I feel like those are the keys to success, one of them. So, Josh Jacobs, I think he'll do good, obviously, if he stays healthy. I think the team is still very well balanced, very young, but I think their ceiling's only so high. I would probably give them probably the same amount of wins as last season, maybe 10-7, maybe. But they do have the toughest schedule in this division. So it'll be another tough season for them, but I think they can make playoffs and maybe make a wild card game again.
Yeah. I think I think the key is the defense and just making sure that that they perform well. They played well in their last few games in the playoffs. They did very well. It's just unfortunate that they dropped those picks against Brock Purdy that they caught against Dak Prescott. You expect similar things when you play so well against one team, and then for them to just escape your hands the next game. It's just difficult to watch sometimes, but I digress. I'm not salty about that at all yet. I mean, again, so, but no, they're a good team. They added Xavier McKinney to their safety room. They're gonna need to be healthy. They battled injury with some of their key players. Christian Watson, we're gonna need a full season out of him. Jair Alexander, gonna need a full season out of him.
For sure.
Christian Watson couldn't get his hamstring together all season long. 2 games in, 3 games out. 1 game in, the next game out. It's just unfortunate. You need your key guys, but that did give more experience to the other guys. Hicks, he's a young wide receiver. They got Jalen Reed. They got a lot of guys, man. Luke Musgrave played very well as their tight end. So they got weapons on offense. Defense is going to be key for them. I see, honestly, I see Chicago and Green Bay just battling all season with each other and against other teams, and I think they're going to be neck and neck the entire season. It's really hard to gauge, man. I don't know. I'm gonna say that the Packers will be third in the division, a game behind Chicago, and depending on their schedule, I haven't looked at their schedule, but if you can pull that up, do they play Chicago toward the end of the season? Because I mean, if so, I think that's going to be the determining factor for whether they make the playoffs or not.
Chicago is their final regular season game.
Yeah, I think that's going to determine the wild card. Yeah. And so that's going to be a game that is on Sunday night, the final game of the season in is snowy Green Bay or snowy Chicago.
Green Bay.
It's in Green Bay. Snowy, blistering cold Green Bay for the wild card, and it's going to be must see. And so Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams, barring any injuries, um, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, and those quarterbacks get to battle it out for the next 4 to 10 years, depending on if they get their second contract, which I'm sure they will. Um, well, third for Jordan Love, um, but yeah, I'm excited for those two teams to battle, and so we can transition to
Let's do it.
Chicago because they brought in Caleb Williams as their quarterback, and this team has one of the best rosters in all of football, and they've done a lot of overhaul, bringing in players, especially on offense.
Yep.
But the question that I have is Matt Eberflus the guy? Is he the right coach? Because you moved around a lot, brought in a lot, but you kept the same coach. And if I was Chicago, I knew that I was getting rid of Justin Fields, bringing in Caleb. I would have gotten a new coach. I would have gotten someone who was proven as a good coach. Um, it's a it's going to be a new regime for the most part. So why not bring in a new guy? And that's just my thought. Um, I hope that Eberflus isn't the reason they fail or they, don't succeed as much as they want to.
Yep.
But I can see it happening. I mean, yes, they did bring in a new offensive coordinator, and I'm looking up his name now, but um, Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron from Seattle. So he was a fairly good coordinator for him. So we'll see what happens. So far Caleb Williams has looked good in preseason. We know his talent level is extremely high. Um, but yeah, the weapons that they have, DeAndre Swift at running back, DJ Moore, another season in Chicago, bringing in Keenan Allen, drafting Roma Dunze, the tight end that they have, Cole Kmet, he's good. Gerald Everett, solid veteran. Mercedes Lewis, another solid veteran at tight end, switching over from Green Bay. Um, yeah, I mean so they still have Khalil Herbert, Rashawn Johnson, who played well last season, Travis Homer from Seattle. Um, they just got weapons all over. Velus Jones Jr. played well last season. They just got guys. They just got guys all over the offense. It's gonna be if they can click, this offense can click. Caleb Williams is gonna it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And the defense we know was already good last season. Jalen Johnson as the leader of that defense as a corner. So I see I see Chicago taking the second seed in similar position to last season as the Packers. 9, 10 wins, getting that wild card spot, and you know, seeing where they go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned the coach, and I think the question is, how's the chemistry going to be with him and Caleb Williams? Um, and I think that's a good coordinator as well from Seattle. But the key is, can they click? Can they get chemistry? Can they be on the same page? Um, I want to be high on the Bears because I look at their schedule. I mean, I look at their roster and it's incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. But then I look at their schedule and it's pretty rough. Um, Caleb Williams is going to play a lot of good teams, a lot of good defenses in his first season, and I'll mention a few for you
Let's break
today.
it down.
Texans, Rams.
Very, very good. Eh, that
Eh,
that'll be a good game. It'll be a good game. I
Yeah,
don't think their defense is going to be as good, especially losing Aaron Donald. But that'll be a
right.
good game for sure.
Yeah, these teams, their defenses aren't the best, but their offenses are also really good as well.
Yeah,
So they might just be shootouts. We'll see.
yeah,
But Texans, Rams, Jaguars, Packers, Lions, 49ers, Lions, Packers. So it's like we're talking about the division, right? We mentioned the division. It's not an easy
yeah.
division at
No,
all.
it's not. It's not.
Uh, but the games outside of the division, Jaguars, Rams, Texans, 49ers, Seahawks, they're not slouches either. They're going to be tough
No,
games.
not at all. They're going against a lot of playoff teams.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be a good test for Caleb Williams. I need to see about 2 games from this team, and then I'll be either sold or not sold.
Yeah,
Because for me, it doesn't take long. I'm a quick judge. It doesn't take long to see how you're clicking, and obviously teams can change and grow and
yeah,
adapt. But early on, I need to see exactly the game plan, the scheme. How much are you going to be able to get out of um, this veteran core of receivers besides DJ Moore? But I need to see them gel. I need to see them click, and if they do, then yeah, I think they'll be right there battling for that 2 spot in the division and that wild card um, playoff spot as well. But I think the Packers are just more proven.
yeah.
So I would go Chicago right now at 3.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's gonna be, Lafleur can outcoach Eberflus. I mean that's the thing. Like
Yeah,
he's a better coach. And let's just be real. And so if it's gonna come down to coaching, I'm giving it to Dan Campbell. I'm giving it to Lafleur. Like he just not to me. He's just not the best coach for them. And he hasn't, of course, he hasn't had this type of roster before. So, especially in Chicago, I'm not
right.
sure where he was before, but we'll see how he gels with this team. I mean, the roster is loaded, even on
Incredible.
defense.
Yeah,
Montez Sweat, Gervin Dexter, T.J. Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, Kyler Gordon, Tyree Stevenson, and Jalen Johnson. Like that's the first string defense. Loaded, loaded,
yeah,
and the offense is the same way. The weapons all over the field.
yeah,
Caleb Williams has somebody to throw to at all times.
yeah,
If they want to run the ball, they can do that too. DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Rashawn Johnson, like this, they've put so much, they've given so much to Caleb Williams. Is crazy. This I've never seen this before in my life.
yeah,
How much they've given a rookie quarterback. Most times, rookie quarterbacks come in with scraps.
yeah,
Especially the first seed, the first overall pick quarterback.
yeah,
Scraps. Nothing. He has everything, bro.
yeah,
Like I've never seen it before, and I don't know what that is going to look like for other teams as far as their how they play. But I said it before. I feel like other teams are gonna come in when they play Chicago. They're gonna come in with their antennas up already because it's Caleb Williams. We know him. He's a college superstar. We know that. And then everything that they put around him. Like I feel like other teams are gonna come in really wanting to beat this team,
yeah.
and I think it's gonna make for some really good football. So I'm excited to watch the Bears. This is one of the teams, of course, the Bears are not my team,
Yeah.
but if there's going to be one team that I'm trying to watch every single game of, it's going to be the Bears. Um, they're going to be my Sunday ticket team.
Yeah.
So I'm tuning in. I'm watching. I'm watching. It's going to be exciting. Um, I like Roma Dunze. I
Yeah.
really do. His play in Washington last season, because I watched almost every Washington game
Mhm.
because of him and Penix. But I like him a lot, and he's got some really good wide receivers to learn from.
Oh, yeah.
So if he can stay healthy, he's got a he's not gonna win Rookie of the Year. That's probably gonna be Caleb,
Probably not.
but
Yeah.
he's he's got some great opportunities to be that third wide receiver there, and so this team is just loaded, man. So if they can get over the youth and coaching, they'll be fine, and they'll be a sneaky sleeper team. Some media pundits are already picking them to go to the Super Bowl. We're gonna get into that, but um, let's move on to
Real
the.
real quick,
Go ahead.
before we transition, I have to ask this question because he is a rookie quarterback. He
Hmm.
is very young. I think some would say he might be a little immature, inexperienced. Um, so my question for you, JD, is what if
Hmm.
Caleb Williams is a bust? Then, as a Chicago franchise, because they haven't had very good luck with drafting QBs, okay,
Correct, correct.
what do you do then?
This would be. I will answer your question, but if he is a bust, this would be the biggest bust of all time.
Wow, of
All
all
time.
time. Wow.
All time. No question about it. Bigger bust than Jamarcus Russell. Bigger bust than um, Ryan Leaf, uh, Johnny Manziel, like the
Well,
the
Sam
big
Bradford, right?
Sam Bradford. Yeah, I mean he was. Yeah, I guess you could call him bust. Um, Biggest bust of all time. Not only because he just has so much hype. Not only does he have so much hype, he has so much talent around him.
Yeah,
Those other guys didn't necessarily have for sure didn't have the same talent around him that
yeah,
he has now. So if if Caleb Williams just comes in and does bare minimum, it should be decent because he has so much talent around him.
right.
If he just doesn't turn the ball over, they should win. Like, because the defense is gonna. They won 7 games last season
Yep,
without this roster,
right.
without Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. Like 2 more wins, 3 more wins. If he's a bust, and so your question, what do you do? I don't know. I mean, it's it's gonna take time for them to, I guess, proclaim him a bust because he has so much hype. He has so much talent. It's gonna take 3 years. If he's not good in 3 years, he'll go to a different team and try
Well,
again. It's I don't know. It'll be biggest bust of all time.
yeah, yeah. I would agree. I'm close to biggest bust of all time, but I'm looking at somebody like a Justin Herbert, for example,
Hmm.
who had a good college career, um, came to the NFL with the Chargers, and it's kind of been the same since he's come in. He's kind of just
Yeah.
stayed steady.
Yep.
Um, hasn't necessarily gotten better. So I'm just thinking if Caleb comes in and stays the same, right? Is that going to be good enough to get this team to a playoff win, 2 playoff wins, and further.
He's gonna have to be so the knock on Caleb coming out of college was that he's great off platform. He's great moving around. He's great when he, has to run outside the pocket and get something off. But those rhythm throws, he wasn't the best at. So
Yep.
he's gonna have to develop. He's gonna have to grow.
Right.
And but the talent around him is so good that he
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to. It's not USC. In other
No.
words, he has an amazing defense. He has a running game, so he's not going to have to throw the ball 40 to 50 times. It's the NFL. It's a slower game, so he shouldn't have to do a whole lot.
So as long as he's a Brock Purdy type of guy, a game manager type quarterback, they should be fine. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, they should. Yeah, I mean, because he has so much talent around him, but he's also not that type of quarterback either, though.
Right.
He is flashy. He
Yep.
does make those off platform throws. He can throw the ball 60 yards down the field. I mean, so it's gonna depend on the game plan, the scheme,
Yep.
and the team he's going against, how good they are, how well you scheme against them. They got a lot out there, and of course they're gonna have to gel too. I mean, I think it's gonna
Yep.
take a little bit of time, because he is a rookie quarterback, and it's just the NFL. These guys are good. These guys
Yep.
are fast.
Right.
He's not going against Colorado's defense anymore. He's not going against,
No.
those other teams in the Pac 10 or 2 that just don't really have good defenses. And so, fortunately for him, again, he does have a loaded roster, people that he can rely on, depend on, to, especially defense that can get him the ball a lot. I see a lot of takeaways from this defense. That was, even really good last season. So, interesting question that you brought up. Interesting, topic conversation that we're going to be monitoring throughout this entire season. And speaking of which, like the video, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you see all of our NFL content that's starting right now. This has been an incredible video so far. If you're new to the channel, like it. We're here all season long with NFL coverage. We did a great job last season with bringing the NFL to you guys, and so we're going to be doing that again. But like I said, I'm going to be watching the Chicago Bears all season, and we're going to be talking about this team because they're gonna be probably the most polarizing team, most talked about team all season, win or lose, because they win. Wow, they won. Rookie quarterback, he's doing it big. Keenan Allen, still, one of the best wide receivers in the game. Rome Odunze making big plays. Jalen Johnson takeaways. Like, there's just got a lot of storylines with this team. And so, as we transition to the Minnesota Vikings, we just have to say prayers up for JJ McCarthy.
Yep.
He was dealing with a knee issue throughout, all of the offseason. And, after the MRIs came in, it showed that he had a torn meniscus. And so they decided as a team to go ahead and have that season-ending surgery, put him on season-ending IR. And now it's Sam Darnold's season. And whatever that means, I don't know. But they brought Sam Darnold in, as their backup, and now he's the number one. So we put this team last, and I think that's where we see this team. I made a tweet, or no, it was actually a comment on a YouTube video that Justin Jefferson is punching the air right now. Now he might have been punching the air, with JJ McCarthy. I don't know, but he looked good that first playoff game. I mean, first preseason game. He looked pretty good, and so losing him, tough blow. But to be honest, if the Vikings can play defense and Justin Jefferson can stay healthy, I think they have a shot to spoil a lot of games for a lot of teams. I think that's going to be their, of course, they probably won't say that, well, we're here to spoil everybody's season. No
Yeah.
coach is going to say that. But just the situation that they're in, they're going to have to do that because, what can we get out of Sam Darnold? I don't know. What can he be? With the Jets, it's just not really there. But when you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, and Robert Tonyan,
And
you
Aaron,
have and Aaron Jones. Yes, Aaron Jones. Um, you got weapons. You have a chance. You got a shot. And you know if Sam Darnold can not throw picks, got a shot. They got to be able to play defense though, and I think that's the key for the Vikings this season.
yeah,
Have to play defense, have to get stops, have to get takeaways, and we'll see what happens. They got the Gink, they got Van Ginkel, but one thing that I will say, and this was the steal of the draft, the entire draft for me, Dallas Turner.
yes,
Dallas Turner.
yeah.
Like I said before, get you an Alabama player. And he fell in the draft, and I said in the draft, he has a chip on his shoulder. He should have been top 5. He
Yeah.
was not. He should have been top 10. I don't think he was. If I'm not mistaken, I'm just gonna check right now. Dallas Turner
12 or 15, something like that.
was pick number. Where is it?
It might be.
Uh, I don't see it anywhere. Well, y'all can tell us in the comment section where Dallas Turner was drafted, but
17.
17. So there you go.
Way too far.
Way too far, way too far, and again, he's one of the best defensive players in college last season, and I think he's gonna win Defensive Rookie of the Year, uh,
Absolutely.
barring injuries. Um, yeah, he's just that good. He's fast. He's NFL ready. Um, so getting him was very important. Um, he's gonna wreck a lot of teams, and you gotta scheme for him. You got a game plan for him. I'm excited to watch him. Uh, they're gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fantasy team. It's just gonna be a fantasy team. Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. I hope he can stay healthy as well.
Hope so.
Him not being healthy last season was a bummer because I think I had him in one of my fantasy teams, and he just
Yeah,
man,
probably.
just disappointing. Um, but yeah, I don't really have much to say about Minnesota. Just it's just unfortunate that JJ McCarthy got hurt. They did bring in Matt Corral um, as one of their quarterbacks from Ole Miss, and so they have a lot of options. Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, Matt Corral. Get ready because you never know what you're gonna get from Sam Darnold. Um, but yeah, offensively, this team is gonna have to score a lot of points to beat people, and let's look at their defense. Byron Murphy, Fabian Monroe. Still got Harrison Smith kicking it back there. in the secondary. um,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, though Dallas Turner, he's a guy, man. He's so good.
Yep.
He's gonna have to be the guy for the defense for sure. Um, but yeah, yeah, I like the offense. I see Minnesota being the fourth team in the division. And they got 7 wins last season without Justin Jefferson for a lot of that toward the back end. Now that of course they did have Kirk Cousins, so well before he tore his Achilles. Um, but yeah, they're gonna have to score a lot of points, and maybe they can do that. Maybe they can. Aaron Jones getting a running game for this offense is really important. And Aaron Jones, you know, being a former Green Bay Packer, he's gonna come in with a chip on his shoulder as well. He's a very good runner of the football. I know that first game against Green Bay is gonna be crazy. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. No, this Vikings team definitely has talent for sure. It's tough to see JJ go down. I mentioned in the draft that I thought he could have been one of the best quarterbacks in the draft. Um,
Yeah.
so tough to
Just
see
given
him.
the situation.
Right, right, exactly, and because he has talent around him as well.
Mhm.
So I hate to see him go down. Wish for a speedy recovery, but regarding the others in this team, I think Sam Darnold is a backup quarterback. He's not a starter. Um,
Yeah.
what that means for Addison, what that means for Hawkinson, uh, Jettas, and all those players, I'm not sure. But you do have Aaron Jones now, which is someone you can give 25, 30 carries to, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Uh, so you know, Dallas Turner is a huge help in the defense, like you
Mhm.
mentioned. Very, very versatile linebacker. I mean, I see Bobby Wagner all over him, maybe even better.
I see Micah Parsons.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he'll rush you, he'll cover, he can do whatever. Um, really fast. So yeah, I think Turner will be a great addition for the team. Um, as far as the overview of the season, I don't see much being able to happen in this division with so much talent.
Hmm.
Lions, Packers, and Bears are all better as overall teams.
Yeah.
Um, but I think if you know try and build, let McCarthy be around those guys, um, get some chemistry under you, and I think you plan for next season, um,
Yeah.
and hope nobody else really gets hurt. I think
Yeah.
Addison had a minor ankle in preseason, but they said he's okay. So yeah, I don't see him being able to do too much. But like you mentioned, I do think if they can score, they can definitely beat some of the teams. Um, I think the interesting thing will be, for this division, will be seeding. So
Yeah.
if Green Bay slips up once, if Chicago slips up once against Minnesota, who knows what could happen. So we'll
Very
see how
true.
they do. I'm not very confident in Darnold, but we'll see. We'll see how they do.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True. Um, you know, I like Aaron Jones bringing him in. You need a running back. Kevin O'Connell. I like him as a coach.
Yeah,
I like
me too.
him. He's a good offensive mind. He just needs a quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm trying. It's tough with the whole Kirk Cousins situation because you let him go or you traded him, and then your first round pick quarterback gets hurt. So it's like, man, like what if we didn't? what if we didn't trade him? Like, what if we kept Kirk? Like,
Yeah.
those questions you just ask yourself in the back of your mind, like what if, But um, I was listening to NFL Network, just listening to Kevin O'Connell talk. He's still confident. He still believes that JJ is the quarterback of the future for him, and you know, it's a tough situation. But honestly, it's been a lot of injuries in the preseason, whether it be like big injuries or minor injuries. It's just been a lot, and I don't know if it's been more than usual, but it's been a lot. But yeah, I think that's a good place to put a stamp on it.
Yep.
The way the way we had it is the way we think it's gonna be. Lions first. I'm saying Bears second. You're saying Packers second. So that's where we kind of
Yep.
deviate. Um, but the Vikings last, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe the Bears are just too much with their roster. Maybe Jordan Love blooms into the superstar that he's paid like. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Jared Goff has a stinker, and the the big key for everybody is injuries. If your main guy goes down, then what can you really do at that point? So we'll see how it all shakes out for the NFC North this season. Let us know down in the comment section, which division do y'all want to see next? Do y'all want to go to the NFC East? Do you want to talk about the AFC West and the Chiefs? Let us know down in the comment section what division y'all want to see next, and we'll be bringing that to you all very, very soon. Until then, like the video, comment, subscribe. Again, thank you all for those that have been watching and did like the video. Share the video with your friends, your family. It's NFL season. Everybody's getting ready and ramped up for it. So share the video with your friends, your family, everybody that watches, all the Detroit Lions fans. Share the video. We talked about these teams a lot. So share the video with those you know. We'll be bringing y'all content very, very soon with our NFL forum. So excited. Jeremiah, it was a great video.
It was. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to talk about these other teams. And I'm excited for the NFL season to start too. We got NFL starting up soon. We got Premier League that starts literally in it started today, technically, but
Yeah,
officially starts tomorrow morning. So Premier League, NFL, best time of the year is coming around. So y'all get ready.
absolutely. All right. Well, until next time, thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the Talking Sports Podcast. Till next time, peace, y'all.
Peace.